What's going on, everybody? So we're back with another Debt Blitz update. So if you've been following the channel, you would know that over the past few months, I've been systematically attacking my toxic credit card and personal loan debt. So I had over $30,000 in credit card debt and over $20,000 in personal loan debt. And we have an 18-month game plan to get it all paid off. So I'm hoping, my hope is that through this series and through me documenting this process in my system, that I can give you guys some strategies and some ideas and hopefully some inspiration and information to get your personal situation, if you're in debt, your personal debt situation situated, so we can get to this financial freedom, so we can do the things that we like to do. I like to travel. I like experiences and being debt free, or at least having manageable debt or debt that is going towards income generating things, assets, businesses, making money with the debt rather than it being toxic consumer debt. So I'm hoping that I can, give you guys some insight. So we're going to break down this month's Uber earnings. So if you haven't tapped into the other videos, Uber and my job are the main engines for getting this debt paid down. And starting in January of 2026, I had to buy a new Uber vehicle because my old Uber vehicle was a 2010 Lincoln MKZ. It did its job, but Uber vehicles cannot be over 15 years old. It's a 2010, so when 2026 rolled around, I was not able to drive Uber with my MKZ. I can do deliveries, but I can't do passengers, and I prefer doing passengers because they give better tips in my experience, and I'd rather be working on my social, personal skills, just like it's more exciting for me, and it's more doable than grinding 15, 20 hours of Uber Eats every weekend. That might be for some of you guys. If you don't want to talk to people, you just get into the bag. You do what you got to do, deliver the food. But I like the passengers. So I bought a new vehicle. I didn't do Uber the first 2 or 3 weeks of January because I was getting the vehicle ready for Uber and purchasing the vehicle. But we'll take a quick look at that purchase and what that looked like. I'll do a full video breakdown on whether or not it's worth it to buy a vehicle for Uber. I would say yes, and I would say buy a used one and don't spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on a car with a payment if your focus is increasing your net worth. Now, if you want a nice car and you want to use Uber as a tool to pay for that car, then I think that's fine, because you can make several $100s per weekend, or you can even pay off a full car note every weekend pretty much through Uber. So it's like not a bad way to get yourself in a nice whip. But I am focused on paying down debt. So I have my cars to get me to work, but I think it's good to find something that's reliable and cheap. That's what I did with my 2012 Ford Fusion, and we're just going to take a quick look at this. So I paid $2,500 for the Ford Fusion. Bought it on Facebook Marketplace. This is my expenses table for my Debt Blitz, not the Debt Blitz, but just my Uber business. So 2012 Ford Fusion, bought it on Facebook Marketplace, $2,500. Tax and registration and the tags, $430. Had some other incidental expenses, just other things that I needed to get the car going. I also bought a head unit, so 264 for the Sony touchscreen head unit, and this harness so I can do the seat control, so I can turn the volume up and down. Just not necessary, and I wasn't gonna do it. I was actually gonna take it out of my old car, like the head unit. It was like an old kind of cheap head unit, and put it into the new car, but just I had some wiring issues, and I had to oh, fuck it, I'm just going to buy a new head unit and put it in, and just makes the experience a little bit better. Is it worth the extra $500? Maybe, maybe not, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter to me. So all in about, close to $3,500 to get in the new whip and get it eligible for Uber and Uber ready. So that's something that I have to overcome in these first couple months of the year in order to start making profits and be in that profitable zone where it's like pretty much straight profit after I pay off this car. And it'll be paid off in the first couple months here of 2026. So here I have my totals. So total expenses in Uber, $4,099, and that's including like the gas and everything else that I've spent on the Uber business so far this year, including the car purchase. Total income, $1,244.45. And then my net, I'm back $2,854.32. So I had a 2008 Lincoln MKZ that I also had. This is my first Uber car, so not the 2010, but I had another one that was sitting around. I scrapped it for $300, so I counted that as income. And then my first 2 weeks of Uber. So I'll get paid out on February 3rd for what I just did this weekend, $579.91 before gas. And then my first week of Uber was $365.58 before gas. So not too bad. My goal is to make $300 every weekend, and that's what the Debt Blitz schedule has calculated. And we'll take a look at that after this just to see if I'm on pace or not on this Debt Blitz payoff. But it accounts for $300 every weekend on Uber. So looking at the weekly breakdown of my Uber income, $64.62 on the week of January 25th. And that's expenses, so that's gas. $365 in income, so I netted that $300 right on the money in 96 cents. 15 hours, about $20 per hour, not too bad. Expenses on this past weekend, so it's Sunday, I drove a little bit this morning, but this is the expenses for this weekend. $88.42. Income $579.91. So I just had to get to the money this weekend. I went harder than usual. Like usually 15 hours is kind of where I can, like, that's $300 just on average, but put some extra hours in, just trying to account for anything else that might come in the future, any unexpected expenses or whatever else. I just get ahead. It's better to be ahead than behind. So fuck it. I'm going to try to make some extra money here. So I netted $491.49. So that's, a week and a half of Debt Blitz in 1 week, which is excellent to see. And we're looking at $22.86 per hour. Not too bad. So the Debt Blitz schedule, let's see if we're on pace to pay this thing off. And again, you can check out the rest of the Debt Blitz series if you want to get a breakdown of what all of this means and how it works. But here we have the timeline. So we started back in October of last year, and we plan on having everything paid off by July of 2027. And that is the game plan. So right now, this is the important part, and this is what I'm looking at every week over on the right, is our balances. So we have the real ending balance right now, which is, I don't have a real ending balance for February because February just started. But looking back at January, yesterday, the real ending balance was $26,715. So over in my credit card balances box, you can see I have a bunch of credit cards and I sum up their balances down here. And I had a bunch of credit cards, just like taking advantage of the sign-up bonuses that the credit cards give. A lot of times $100, $200, $300 to sign up for a credit card. And I was using them responsibly at first. And then, get lost in the sauce, start buying things. And I don't think they were bad purchases, but things just kind of got out of, I want to say out of control, but I spent more than I needed to spend. And now I'm clawing back that money and that freedom back, because I bought the freedom at the time, but now I have to buy it back. So $26,000 in credit card debt compared to the projected ending balance. So this is what's keeping me in alignment. This is where I want to be. So $24,486 is where I want it to be, and what the Debt Blitz plan had scheduled and projected for the end of January. And, as you can see, we're back about $2,000, which is not a big deal. And we're actually going to see a refinancing of debt, which I've already locked in, and we'll talk about in the next Debt Blitz episode. But I wanted to give you guys a clear picture of where we stand right now before we do that Debt Blitz refinancing, which is going to save me 5-6% on interest, over $3,000, or maybe not over, but close to $3,000 in interest over the next 18 months. And we're also looking at some not credit card, but checking account sign up bonus churning action. So another $2,000 in sign up bonuses from banks that whenever you sign up for their checking accounts, and they give you free money. And so I'm going to take advantage of that also, but we'll talk about that in another video. So looking forward to February, the projected ending balance is $21,198. So we're back about $5,000. It's February 1. So I got some money to make still. But that is something that's going to change, because we're going to have to redo this Debt Blitz schedule a little bit. We're going to have to reconfigure it, because that refinancing, it's a really big deal. And it was just an offer that popped up on Credit Karma. They saw that I paid off two of my other credit cards. And I think that interest rates are going down. So Credit Karma just popped a really good offer in my face. And I'm going to be able to save $3,000 over the next 18 months of this Debt Blitz, which is very nice. So last thing I'm going to look at here is just if you've been following these numbers here. So I have these two green numbers, February 2026 and then January 2026. So my normal payments every month are $1,900. So this is what I can pay towards my credit card every month with my extra income from my job and with the Uber income, $1,900 on a normal month. December 2025 was an abnormal month because I had $3,000 from student loan refund check that I had in a bank account, and I was waiting for one of those sign-up bonuses, but I was able to activate it in December. So whenever you see these dark green months, these are whenever I'm getting student loan refund checks and putting it towards the Debt Blitz. And these 2 months with the light green and the gray, I was expecting a $3,900 payment in February for my student loan refund check, but I actually ended up getting that earlier. So I ended up getting that $3,900 in January. So I just made a little swap here. That's just one of the small things to be consistent. If you've been checking out the videos and it's wondering, oh, why is this different, or why are the numbers different? I got some money faster than I was expecting to get it. So I applied it to my total debt balance earlier, and it kind of messes some things up a little bit, but everything kind of evens out. $21,198 is still where I wanted to be at the end, or where I want to be at the end of February. But again, next video, I'm going to be going into this refinancing offer that I got on Credit Karma and I was able to lock in, which is going to save me a significant amount of money, and it's going to consolidate all of those credit cards into a personal loan. So it's going to be a bigger personal loan, but I'm not going to have to pay down the 8, 9, 10 different bills every month like I've been doing, paying the minimums and attacking one at a time, one big one at a time. But I'll have that all consolidated into one big loan, which I'll have a steady payment on, and I'll be able to throw some extra money on it on top of that steady payment. And we'll go exactly into those details in the next video. But we're going to continue forward with the Debt Blitz. We're going to pay off all this debt within these next 18 months. And it's just about showing up every day, these weekends. Whenever you have a big plan, you have something to look forward to, like being debt free or going on these trips. I love to be international, traveling through South America, and I want to go through Europe eventually, and just Southern Africa or Northern Africa before Europe. And I just want to be able to have that flexibility to just be able to do whatever I want, just extra money. Because right now it's credit cards, and I have to pay the credit cards. And I could still do what I want, but there's always that cloud hanging over your head. It's like, well, you have debt. Like, all right, you can go out this weekend and like do whatever you want pretty much, but like you still have debt. So at the end of the day, I want all of that to be gone. All of that, I want that cloud to not be here, and just have all of that freedom and just that lifestyle change that comes with being removed from toxic credit card debt. And you guys can do it too. It's just about planning and execution. So thanks for tuning in if you made it to the end, and I'll keep you guys updated on this and other finance hacks and ways that I am being able to live comfortably and like maneuvering my financial life. And I'll get back with you guys next time.